Hello, my name is Ian. I'm part of the Baxi training team. I'm here at our Dartford Training Centre, and today's Training Tuesday is all about the Baxi 600 and 800 Combi 2s and how to get the best out of the user interface. So we'll start by taking you through the controls. The first thing you need to know is when the control backlight is off, like it is at the moment, you need to press a button to wake it up. Any button will do this. You can see there it's showing the pressure 1.3 and it's saying OK, and that's a reference for the customer, just to say everything is fine and the pressure is stable. If the pressure drops, the OK disappears and the pressure display will flash. That's telling the customer they need to top it up. All they have to do is top it up until it says OK again. I have a heating dial here, which I can change my temperature or my flow rate to my radiators. And as you can see, I can turn it all the way off, using it as a summer-winter switch. So if all I want to do in the summer was turn my heating off, then I can do that. And then when the winter comes along again, I can turn it back on. Exactly the same for my hot water. I could turn that off if I wanted to. And then I have the 4 buttons at the bottom. The first button is return. If I want to get back into a previous menu, I simply press this button here. Second button, reset. Does exactly what it says on the tin. If I have an error code and I need to clear it, I press the reset button, the error code will clear. Then I have a menu button. That will take me further into the parameters where I can access all the information in there. And then the tick button, that's accept. If I change any parameters, I just press that button to make sure that change takes place. So to look further into the menu, I press the menu button and release, and you can see 5 icons along the top. The first one, information. I want to enter that, so I press the accept button. And now it's going to show me different parameters. This is a snapshot of what is going on with the boiler right now. So if I look, for example, I turn either one of these dials, I can turn and look at different parameters. And if I look at DM002, what that's going to tell me is flow rate. Now I've got no taps running, so it's showing me 0. But if I turn on a tap, what you'll see is that will change. And there you can see 11.2 litres per minute. So I know exactly how much water is running through my unit. So if I was filling my benchmark book in, I wouldn't have to get my weir gauge out. I could quite simply do it from here. It's a really handy feature. There's flow temperatures, return temperatures, lots of information I would use on my benchmark I can gather from this menu. If I want to come out of that menu, I press the return button. So you can see now all the icons are back. I scroll along one, and now on the customer menu, I press the tick button to accept. And I can scroll around, you can see here there's quite a lot of options there, but I've selected DP070. I click on there. It's given me 52. That's the actual temperature of my hot water set at. So if I scroll along here, you can see that that's changing. I accept that, I've just changed my hot water. Now obviously it's easier to do it on the dial on its own, but it just shows you there that the customer can alter some settings. If they have altered settings and you're not sure about what they left in that, there is a default that I'll show you later that returns this back to factory settings. I press the return button, back to my icons. I scroll along one more and press the accept button. It's going to ask me for a code. I'm in the engineer menu now. Now this really is a pause to say, should I really be entering this? And if you're not an engineer, no you shouldn't. But I enter the code. If you forget the code, it's in the installation instructions. I press the accept button and I have a range of parameters. I can change a lot in this menu, but I'm going to go up and change my weather comp curve. So I want to go to CP230. I press the accept button, and you can see here my curve is set at 3. I've done my calculations and I think actually that's a bit too high. I need it to go down to 2.2. Remember, you must press the accept button for that to be entered. Now it's in there. If I don't press the accept button, it will revert back to 3 like it originally was in. If I keep scrolling to the end, not the last one, but the one before that, I get CNF. If I press the accept button, it says CN166. Now on the data badge, it will give you two numbers, a CN1 number and a CN2 number. If you re-enter those numbers, by pressing the accept, and CN2, in this case is 2, I press the accept there, it will go back to factory settings. So it doesn't matter what I've changed now, the boiler will revert back to factory settings, meaning that if somebody's been messing around with it, you're not quite sure, you've got a base point you can start again from. So now we're back to the menu. I scroll along one, remember it doesn't matter which dial I use, and now I press the accept button, and we're in the error menu, and you can see on here we've put a number of errors on. If I scrolled around, I could clear that. If I pressed the accept button now, all of those errors would disappear. But I don't want to do that just yet. So I go back and it's got error, and I've got 10 errors on there. The first error, H302. H302, that's temporary flame loss. That's actually a block out. So that wouldn't show as a permanent error, and reset wouldn't work on that. If the situation changes, the boiler will refire. I scroll again. E410. Now, if I was looking at this as a job as an engineer, I'll be looking, actually, I've had temporary flame loss, and now I've lost the flame completely. So that's telling me this boiler is struggling to light. So E410 is loss of flame, failed ignition. Now that could be no gas, it could be no spark. I'd have to investigate that. But as you can see, these error codes are really handy to build up a picture of what's been going on with the boiler. And on this one we've got 10, but over 30 error codes will be held on here. Now, as the error codes get older, the newer error codes will drop off the ones that are oldest. But 30 is a lot of error codes there. So I'll come out of that, I press return, I want to clear them off. Let's say I believe I've done the job and I think I've got rid of the error codes, but I want to make sure that when I come back, any new error codes, I'll be able to tell they're new. I can press accept. Now you can see errors 0. I've wiped all those away. I press the back button. Now my final menu, I press accept. This is timers. So this is going to tell me how many run hours each unit. So I've got run hours for heating, I've got run hours for hot water, and I've got run hours for frost protection. So I can scroll through here, I can look at the different menus, I can work out how long the boiler has been operating on what mode. To come out of that, I press the return button, I press the return button again. I'm back to the standard menu. And as you can see, it says OK, but now it says 22 degrees, because as you can see there, the heating light is flashing. My heating's on. So now it's reverted to telling you it's still OK, so the customer doesn't have to worry, but it's boiler temperature. So when that fires up, that temperature will begin to rise. So they have an overview of the menu and all the features you can use on the Baxi 6 and 800 Combi 2. For more information, why not go to baxi.co.uk/training.